let's see. Yep, I hit the right coordinates. Universe sector 0057 Charlie. The observers have sent me here on instruction that I'm supposed to prep this particular timeline to accept multidimensional travel, so I'm supposed to use a practical example for them. Well, let's see how people react. Okay, so I'm here with
Killian.
Killian. Actually, that's an interesting name.
Thanks.
First time I've heard it. Must be unique to this timeline. Anyway, long story short, reason I'm here is that I'm supposed to be doing a demonstration as to what multiversal travel is like, and I was wondering, would you be interested in possibly seeing it?
Sure.
All right, cool. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to use a deck of playing cards. It's not a full deck. I've used this deck multiple times for this demonstration. But all the cards are different, and you guys can see that in a second here. So yeah, they're all different. And what I'd like you to do for me is I'd like you to imagine that each of these is an alternative version of you in some parallel universe, okay? Okay. Now I'd like you to pick one that identifies the most to you, okay? Okay. So pick it out and then show the camera. Okay, good. So go ahead. Actually, it just occurs to me that because of the fact that there are multiples of that particular card, whatever it is, out there, in different decks, it's possible that I may not have correctly identified it as an alternate version of you. So let's actually make sure that it is in fact an alternate version. Please sign your name to the face of the card for me. I'm going to turn around while you do this. Okay, now I'll just take the pen back first, and we're going to cap that and stick that away. Now, as I said, because of the fact that we're dealing with a plethora of universes here, I'm going to take yours and try to re-put it back in, back somewhere in the middle of the deck, like I said, which will be re-identified with your universe where this alternate version of you is, okay? Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use my wrist device, which is a wormhole generator. Basically it turns an Einstein-Rosen bridge into a traversable wormhole, and as such it will shift it will drop directly over the alternate version of you and shift it to a universe where we can access it. Okay. So the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, I activate the device, and with any luck I believe it's shifted right back to you. Is that yours?
Yeah, it is.
So like I said, that's it. But you know what? Let's do that again for replication, because replication is demanded for the scientific method to demonstrate a point. So we will put it back in again. This time, would you be so kind as to push it in for me? And actually, just to make sure that I'm not doing any sort of trickery or what have you, would you be so kind as to hold the deck in the view of camera?
Sure.
Just hold it there and make sure I can't touch it.
Yep.
Now hang on. I'm going to flip the device again. Couple of coordinate hits to make sure I re-coordinate this. Hit the device. Would you be so kind as to flip over the top card, please? Is it yours?
That's mine.
Please go ahead and show the camera. And yeah, you get to keep that as a souvenir because that is uniquely you.
Awesome.
So thanks again, Killian, and Cheers. I will, yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
See ya. We're rolling. Okay, so I'm here with
Nicole.
Nicole. So Nicole, have you ever heard of M theory or multiverse theory or anything of that sort?
No.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to give you a practical example of traveling between parallel universes. This is really quick and really succinct. So basically, I'd like you to imagine the idea that for the simplistic sake, that every action you take has every choice you make has multiple timelines split off, okay? Now I'd like you to picture that these cards are a wide selection of parallel timelines, and that you can pick any one which you feel identifies with you personally where you are right now in your life, so to speak. I'd like you to select any one you like and show it to the camera. Good, so go ahead and show it to the camera. Now, I just realized that because there are multiple versions of this card out there with multiple playing decks, it might be kind of hard to be able to determine that that is actually you. So just to be on the safe side, would you be so kind as to sign the face of the card, the side which has the, sign the face for me, and then show that to the camera just to make it clear, sure, this is in fact you.
With my initials?
Your initials, your name, whatever you want. Just whatever you identify as you. Okay, so thanks again. I'll take the pen back first. Pen back, put that away. So here's the cool bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, and I'm going to try to put that back in the multiverse, roughly where you are. So we'll put that thereabouts, and like I said, that'll be done nice and neat. Now I'm going to hit the button here, to put in a couple of buttons to coordinate back to the universe we're in. Activate, and with any luck, I believe the true you has come back up to the top here. Now here's the cool bit. Here's the cool bit. We're going to try this again because scientific experiments automatically require replication to prove a point. We're going to put it back in, again, right about here. Now, would you be so kind as to push that in for me? And actually, just to make sure that I'm not using any trickery of any sort, would you be so kind as to hold the deck for me? Now, hang on. I'm going to punch in a couple of buttons. Reactivate the wrist device, and another wormhole should have activated, and resurfaced it back to the top. Would you be so kind as to flip the top card? And show that to the camera as well, please? That is uniquely you, and you have shifted universes twice. Would you be so kind as to, you can keep that as a souvenir? And I believe that pretty much demonstrates parallel universe travel in a nutshell.
Awesome.
Thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch, Nicole. Okay, so I'm currently here with
George.
Okay, well, nice to meet you, George. And basically, have you ever heard of M theory or many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics or anything like that? No. Parallel worlds? Okay. Well, basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a demonstration of parallel universe travel in a nutshell. I'd like you to imagine that you are a single person who's made the choice to get to where you are now, but there are thousands or millions of alternate versions of you, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, just to illustrate this point, I'm just using a partial deck of cards because I don't have the full thing. I did this trick too many times. And, but I'm just going to show that these possibles are alternate versions of you somewhere in the multiverse, okay? So I'd like you to do me a favor, select any one that you would identify with as you. Like, so just go ahead and pick one.
But randomly select?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. So yeah, you can even file down and, yeah, go ahead, so go ahead. Randomly select. Now go ahead and show the camera. And just to make sure that this is clearly you, as opposed to, you know, some other duplicate version, you know, would you be so kind as to sign your name to the front of it, please? Or whatever you feel identifies you as best, you know. If you have a particular symbol or signature or whatever, just sign it on the face and show that to the camera as well, please. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. First I'll take the pen back, so this way I can cap that and put it away.
Yep. And
then I'm going to try something a little unique. I'm going to take the card back from you. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to try to put it somewhere right in the middle, thereabouts, of the deck, just to illustrate that we're putting it back in back in your universe. Okay.
Okay.
Now here's the cool bit. I'm going to punch in a couple of coordinates here to try to isolate it to our universe. Hit the button to activate, and with any luck, I believe that your card has come back into the this is you back in our universe. But because of the fact that this is a scientific experiment, replication is necessary to illustrate to prove a point.
Of course.
So we're going to put this back in the deck again, right about there, back in the home universe. Go ahead, push that in. And just to make sure that I'm not doing any trickery, would you be so kind as to hold the deck for me? Now hang on. Punch a couple of coordinates again. Hit the button. And with any luck, would you be so kind as to flip over the top card and look at it and show it to the camera, please?
That's it?
Yep, that's you. You get to keep that as a souvenir. You get to keep that particular card as a souvenir because that is you. And that is you in all of your multiversal glory. Awesome. And thanks again, George, and have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.
All right, so I'm here with
Taylor.
Nice to meet you, Taylor. Now, I need to know, have you ever heard of the multiple worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics or M theory or string theory or anything of that sort?
Like multiverses?
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, good. You know exactly what I'm talking about, which makes this a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a practical example for everyone watching this of how what multiverses are and how multiversal travel might work. Or, well, specifically will work, but that's another thing altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'd like you to imagine that you are a distinct person and there are like millions upon billions of alternate versions of you know, from different decisions or even just, you know, different physical laws in different universes, what have you.
Right.
With that in mind, I'm going to pull out this deck of cards, such as what's left of it, and illustrate that these are all different and they are all different versions of you, okay? Now I would like you to pick a, sorry, before I do, I need to grab my pen. Wrong one. Yeah, where's the actual pen? Here we go. This will be coming in a sec. So the first thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to select anyone randomly that you feel is like you.
Oh boy.
Okay. So go ahead, take it and show it to the camera, and then take a look at it yourself. Okay, so take a look at it yourself just to make sure that you know it.
Okay.
So you would feel that this would identify with you, right? But the problem is, though, is that again, because of the fact that there are so many replicants of that particular card all across the multiverse, you know, in different what have you, that because of those repetitions, it's possible that might not be distinctly you. So just to make sure that it is you, you know, just to make sure that you've identified, but just to make sure that everyone else knows it's you, I want you to sign your name or whatever you feel is pertinent to you across the face of the card. You know, something that you feel describes you as you. And show that to the camera as well, please. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do is I'm now going to take the pen back from you first off to start with, so I can cap that and put it away. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm now going to take the card from you. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to put that back in the, back roughly in which universe you originally were in, okay? So we're going to put that there. Now I'm going to try to hit a couple of buttons here. I'm going to try to parameterize to where we are now. Sector 0057 beta, I believe. Yep, or was it delta? I don't remember. Either way, convert that and hit the button so you can see that we've activated the wormhole.
All right.
And what we do is that with that in mind, miss my guess, I believe I've managed to reparameterize you back to the top. Did I do that right?
Sure.
Yeah, that is his. But here, let's just, because this is a scientific experiment, replication is always necessary to, ascertain that a fact really is a fact. So we're going to try that again. We're going to put it back in the middle, right about, right about there. We're trying to lose you in the multiverse. Go ahead and push that in for me. And on top of that, just to be on the safe side, would you be so kind as to hold the deck to make sure I'm not doing any sort of trickery, okay?
Right.
Now, at the count of 3, I'm going to hit the button. 1, 2, 3. That should recoil. That should re-parameterize it back. Wormhole should have jumped. And would you be so kind as to flip the top card and show it to the camera, please?
Scary.
What? Go ahead and show that to the camera. That was him. Now you get to keep that as a souvenir because that is uniquely you. And that, like I said, that describes that is what you feel describes you, and no one can take that away from you. And so yeah, that basically shows multiverse travel in a nutshell. And thanks a bunch, and have a great day.
Great.
Yeah, see you around.